This is section 3.7, and in this section you're going to learn a little bit more about multiplying polynomials using the distributive property. And you're going to find that what you've learned isn't going to be much more complicated today. So you have some steps up here. You can read through those if you're getting stuck. But let's just go ahead and start an example and I'll talk you through it. Expand, simplify, and verify. So expand means to make larger. And so what I need you to do, let's just zoom this in a little bit, is you need to realize that this 5x needs to be distributed to everybody here. So I'm first of all going to take this 5x and pass them out to the 3x squared. 5 times 3 is 15. Don't forget that right now this little x here has a tiny exponent of 1 that you can't see. When you multiply a 5x to the 1 times a 3x squared, you actually add the exponents. And so you're going to get 15x cubed. Now that 5x to the 1 needs to be distributed to the 2x. 5x to the 1 times 2x is plus 10x to the power 2. And then that 5x needs to be distributed to the 4. And 5 times 4 is 20 with an x to the 1. Now, likewise, this 2 is going to be distributed to everybody. 2 times the 3x is plus 6x, or to the 3x squared is 6x squared. 2 to the 2x is plus 4x. And 2 to the 4 is plus 8. So, step number 1 done, expanded. Step number 2 is to simplify. That means you're going to look through here and see if you can combine any like terms. Well, there's only 1x cubed, so that is not going to get combined with anybody. There's a 10x squared and a 6x squared, which turns into 16x squared. There's a plus 20x and a plus 4x, which is plus 24x, and then there's a plus 8. Now the verify. The verify can be done in several ways, and the way that this particular section would like you to verify is we'd like you to choose a number for x, a value for x. X equals 2, or even x equals 1 is fine. So what I want you to do right now is to, underneath here, I want you to write down the original question again. And the original question to verify was 5x plus 2 bracket 3x squared plus 2x plus 4. And I want you to make a substitution of all the x's for 1. I'd like you to change all the x's into 1. So what are we going to have? We're going to have 5. Now I'm actually going to go and I'm going to change all these brackets to square brackets now, because when I make my substitution for x, that's going to be a round bracket. So 5 times 1 plus 2, and 3 times 1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 4, which is going to be 5 times 1 plus 2, which is going to be 7. And inside here I'm going to have 3 plus 2 plus 4 is 7 times 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 4 is 9. And 7 times 9, can't see that I guess very well, is 63. Now what I want you to check is I want you to check to see if when you substitute x equals 1 into your answer that you got, do you get 63? If you don't, you definitely made a mistake. So right here we are going to put in x equals 1. And what are we going to get when we do that? Well, we're going to have 15 times 1 cubed plus 16 times 1 squared plus 24 times 1 plus 8, which is 15 plus 16 plus 24 plus 8. 15 and 16 is 31. Plus 24 plus 8. 31 plus 24 is 30, 40, 55. plus 8, and 55 plus 8 is 63. Since I obtain the same answer whether I put 1 into the original question or 1 into my answer, it would seem that I have verified this question and I've done it correctly. So, turn the page. For this next one, we're not going to verify it. All we're going to do is expand it and see if it works correctly. So we're going to distribute the 4x to all three terms. And we're going to get 4x, I'm going to show a little more work this time, times negative 2x squared, just to show you that if you get stuck, you can show more work. And I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to make sure I know a sign for this 4x. And because I don't see a sign in front of them, I'm going to call him a plus. So I'm going to pass out this plus 4x to this minus 4x now. So this plus 4x gets passed out to the minus 4x. And then this plus 4x gets passed out to the minus 5. Now, I'm going to pass out this negative 2 to all three of those. And I'm going to get negative 2 times negative 2x squared minus 2 times negative 4x and minus 2 times minus 5. Now if you can do this in your head, you don't need to show all this work, but sometimes you get stuck making mistakes if you don't show all your work. So this is a partner, this is a set of partners, set of partners, set of partners, set of partners, and set of partners. And each set needs to be multiplied. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. This x has a little 1 up top. And when you're multiplying them, you add the exponents. X to the 1 times x squared is x cubed. And negative 4 times positive 4 is negative 16. And again, x to the 1 times x to the 1 is x squared. Plus 4 times negative 5 is negative 20x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is plus 4 with the x squared. Negative 2, negative 4 is plus 8 with the x, and plus 10. And let's see if we can group any of these together. We have a minus 8x cubed. We have a minus 12x squared. We have a minus 20x and a plus 8x, which is a minus 12x, and a plus 10. And again, this one we won't verify, but if you were to verify, you would put a number in all the x's here. 1 or 2 is a good choice. Get your answer. Put a number into all of these x's. Get an answer. If these two answers are different, you made a mistake somewhere. So example number 2, expand and simplify. So this one has a little more work because you have a couple places where you have to use this distributive property. The first part, we need to distribute this 2x to both of those terms. Excuse me. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times plus 7 is plus 14x. And now I'm going to distribute this minus 1 to both of those. Minus 1 times x is minus 1x, and minus 1 times 7 is minus 7. And because I have a whole other set of questions here to deal with, I'm going to choose to just put this in brackets just to kind of keep it organized. Now, here I have a minus 5 times these two. And there's a couple ways you can do it. What I choose to do is I choose to leave the minus 5. And I'm just going to distribute these two as if that's the only question I'm looking at right now. So the 3x times the 2x is a 6x squared. 3x times the minus 3 is a minus 9x. The 2 times the 2x is a plus 4x. And the 2 times the minus 3 is minus 6. Okay, so now I have this. Now I have this thing, and I have this thing. There's no one to multiply all of these terms by in front of the bracket. So I'm just going to remove the brackets and not change it because I don't need to. Oh, at this point I probably could have added the 14x and the minus x, but that's fine. This next stage then, this minus 5 needs to get distributed to that, and that. So minus 5 times 6x is minus, or 30x squared. Minus 5 times minus 9x is positive 45x. Minus 5 times 4 is minus 20x. And minus 5 times negative 6 is positive 30. It probably would have been a good idea at this point here to actually simplify before I did that, but it's not going to make any difference. Now let's combine like terms. Well, I have a 2x squared and a minus 30x squared. That's going to give me minus 28x squared. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 x's to combine. So 14x minus x is plus 13x, and plus 45x minus 20x is plus 25x. And then at the end I can see that I've got a minus 7 and a plus 30 is plus 23, and negative 28x squared plus 38x plus 23. And this question just said an expand and simplify. We don't need to verify for this one. So that's our step. Just be careful with your bedmiss and your minus signs and your brackets and make sure that you don't make any dumb mistakes on purpose.